It was a Tuesday night, October 3rd, 1972. The air at the Arecibo Observatory was thin and cold, carrying the scent of dry earth and distant pine. Above, the sky was an impossible black, dusted with a billion unseen stars. Dr. Elena Petrova, a young radio astronomer, sat hunched over her console. Her shift was a solitary vigil, a quiet communion with the vast, indifferent cosmos. The giant dish silently drank in the universe's whispers. Petrova's work was typically a patient sifting through cosmic dust, identifying familiar pulsars. But then, it happened. A sharp, violent spike on her screen. A single, impossibly precise burst of energy. Ultra-short, ultra-powerful, unlike anything she had ever seen. Her first instinct was interference. A glitch. She checked the logs, reran the filters. The anomaly was gone, a phantom blip. Dismissing it, she made a brief note. Anomalous burst, short duration, origin undetermined, likely terrestrial interference. Yet, its singular intensity, its perfect isolation, lingered. A fleeting thought, pushed aside by data. She continued her vigil, unaware she had just logged the first, faint echo of something profoundly unsettling. Weeks later, that solitary blip had all but faded. Then, on a frigid November night, it reappeared. Not a random flash, but the identical signature. Same impossible precision, same formidable power, and crucially, from the exact same celestial coordinates, deep within the distant spiral arms of NGC 4993. This time, it wasn't alone. A second burst followed, then a third, each separated by an unnerving, consistent interval. Not random static, not interference. This was a rhythm, a deliberate beat. Petrova felt a chill that had nothing to do with the cold air. Her fingers trembled as she called up archived data. She cross-referenced her previous log entry. October 3rd, the anomalous burst. It fit. The first signal she dismissed was not a fluke. It was the beginning of a persistent, unfathomable cosmic broadcast. The implications were staggering. If natural, it defied every known astrophysical model. If it was something else, humanity had just received its first unambiguous message from beyond the stars. Not a complex code, but a simple, relentless pulse. A beat, a cosmic heartbeat, echoing across billions of light years, insistent and unwavering. The scientific community, initially skeptical, quickly mobilized. The signal, dubbed the Petrova Pulse, became the most compelling, terrifying mystery in modern astronomy. A silent, persistent question mark carved into the very fabric of space-time. For the next 4 decades, the Petrova Pulse became an obsession. Global observatories turned their colossal ears towards NGC 4993. What began as scientific curiosity evolved into an almost religious vigil. Generations of astronomers, physicists, and mathematicians dedicated their lives to deciphering its relentless beat. They built new instruments, developed advanced algorithms, and pored over terabytes of data, searching for any deviation, any pattern within the pattern, any hint of a language. The data accumulated into an insurmountable library of pulses. Yet, despite collective efforts, no discernible message emerged. No complex modulations, no prime number sequences. It was just the pulse, regular, powerful, unchanging. Its sheer persistence was both awe-inspiring and deeply unsettling. It was a cosmic sentinel, always there, always announcing its presence, yet revealing nothing of its origin or intent. The Petrova Pulse became a backdrop to human existence. Wars were fought, technology advanced, all under the silent, unwavering gaze of this distant, unseen architect. It was a constant reminder of something vast and unknowable, a presence that offered no comfort, no answers, only its rhythmic, unsettling beat. The silence between the pulses felt heavier, pregnant with implications humanity was ill-equipped to comprehend. The precise nature of the Petrova Pulse defied conventional understanding. Its arrival time was unnervingly perfect, its frequency immutable, its power output astronomical. Most baffling, its signal did not disperse or weaken across the billions of light-years it traversed, as every known natural radio wave should. It arrived as sharp and pristine as if it originated just beyond our solar system. This suggested an artificiality, a deliberate engineering on a scale that dwarfed human imagination. The source region in NGC 4993 offered no clues. No visible supernovas, no active galactic nuclei. It was an unremarkable patch of sky, yet from it emanated this impossible, persistent beacon. Some theorized it was a natural phenomenon so unique our physics hadn't caught up. Others whispered of a Dyson sphere, or perhaps a warning buoy, a distress signal, or a greeting, patiently waiting for a reply that never came. The unwavering nature of its beat for 40 years began to weigh heavily on researchers. It was like living next to a ticking clock, its mechanism hidden, its purpose unknown, its eventual chime a mystery that haunted them. This wasn't just data, it was a presence, an unseen entity, tapping on the glass of our cosmic fishbowl, utterly indifferent. And then, without warning, the taps stopped. October 17th, 2012. It was a Tuesday again. A new generation of astronomers sat in the control rooms, listening to the familiar rhythm of the Petrova Pulse. Dr. Anya Sharma, lead researcher at Green Bank Observatory, was reviewing the incoming stream. It was a routine night, the steady green line on the spectrograph unwavering, the numerical readout consistent. Then, in the span of a single microsecond, the line flatlined. The readout went blank. The familiar rhythmic beat simply ceased. Silence. Not a fade, not a sputtering out, just an abrupt, absolute cessation. Dr. Sharma stared at the screen, her mind struggling. Equipment failure, she thought instantly. A power surge. But other instruments were online. Only the Petrova Pulse, the signal that had been a constant companion for 40 years, was gone. Frantic calls swept through the global network. From Arecibo, where Dr. Elena Petrova, now a revered elder statesman, had received the first whisper, to the latest array in Chile, reports were identical. The Petrova Pulse had vanished. Not a trace remained. The void, which had patiently waited, had finally reclaimed its secret. The cosmic heartbeat had simply stopped. The universe, it seemed, had suddenly decided to hold its breath. The aftermath was a strange blend of scientific bewilderment and profound, almost existential grief. The Petrova Pulse, once a source of endless fascination, had become an empty space in the universe, and within the hearts of those who had devoted their lives to it. What did its sudden, absolute cessation mean? The theories, once wild, now felt desperate. Had the distant source simply died? A star collapsing? A power source failing after 40 years? Or had it perhaps fulfilled its purpose? A beacon that had guided something or someone to its destination, then switched off? A cosmic lighthouse whose ship made port? Or was it a warning, a distress call that faded into the silence, its plea unheard, unacknowledged by a nascent civilization too young to understand? For 40 years, humanity had listened to a persistent, unwavering voice from the deep dark. We theorized, debated, and strained to understand. We received no answers, only the relentless, rhythmic beat. And then, just as suddenly, the universe went quiet again. The Petrova Pulse remains one of the most profound, unsolved mysteries. Its existence challenged our understanding of the cosmos, of technology, and of life beyond Earth. Its disappearance left us with an even more terrifying question. What was out there, capable of such a thing, and why did it choose to speak to us for so long, only to suddenly cease? The silent, empty sky above continues its indifferent watch, and sometimes, in the dead of night, those who listened still imagine they can hear the ghost of a beat, a lingering echo from the deepest dark.